This is a review of division with one added thing on the second half. So remember, long division has to be used when there's a coefficient in front of the number or the variable that's the divisor. So if there's a number there, you have to use long division. If there's not, such as these, then you can do synthetic division or long division. Either way will work. So I'll remind you of long division here. You write the first polynomial in a division sign, and then the second one, what you're dividing by, on the outside. And you're asking yourself what number times this 2n is going to give us this 2n to the third. And that's going to be 1n squared. So I put the 1n squared up there and then multiply it, distribute it into this binomial here. So that's going to be 2n cubed, and then n squared times negative 8 will be negative 8n squared. And then after you do that, you'll always change your signs. So positive becomes negative, negative becomes positive, and then add up the columns. So those guys cancel out, they're 0. And then 6 plus 8, you're going to get 14n cubed, and drop the next guy down. And then you do it again. What times 2n gives you the 14n cubed? So that's going to be, whoops, that should be 14n squared there, shouldn't it? Change that to a square. Okay, so what times 2n is 14n squared? So that's going to be 7n. And then we multiply the 7n into the 2n minus 8. So 7n times 2n will be 14n squared, so they match. That's good. 7n times the negative 8 is going to be negative 56n. And then you always change your signs. So negative, positive, and then add them up. Cancel those. Negative 58 plus 56 will be negative 2n. And then drop down the last guy. And what number times 2n gives you negative 2n? So it's going to be negative 1. And then multiply the negative 1 into the 2n minus 8. So negative 1 times 2n will be negative 2n. Negative 1 times negative 8 will be positive 8. And then change your signs. So that's going to become positive. That's negative 8. So 2n's cancel out. 2 minus 8 will be negative 6. Remember, this is your remainder. Then you take the remainder and write it over the what you divided by. So we put minus 6 over 2n minus 8. And then that polynomial right there is your answer. Okay, so then we've got some synthetic division. So you could do long division for these as well, but synthetic will work. I'll remind you of that. You always first want to check for any missing pieces. So everything's here. We've got the b to the 4, 3, 2, 1, and then the number, the constant term without a variable. And then you, after you made sure everything's there, if something's missing, look at this number 5 down here. We have 3, 2, there is no 1, so you need to put a 0 in between the negative 4 and the 8. So if something's missing, put in a 0. If not, just list out all the numbers, all the coefficients rather, and then leave a space for a row of numbers, put a box, change the sign of whatever this number is, that's minus 3, so it's going to be positive 3 here, and then drop down and start multiplying and adding. So we drop down to 4, 4 times 3 is 12, put it in the next spot, negative 8 plus 12 will be 4, and multiply the 3 again. 4 times 3 is 12, add down, negative 6 plus 12 is 6, and then multiply the 6 with the 3 in the box, and keep doing the same process. Add down, we get a positive 1, 1 times 3 is 3, 3 plus 3 is 6. The last number is your remainder, and then you just need to write your polynomial. So you put in the variables. So whatever the exponent starts as a 4, drops down to by 1. So we have 4b to the third, and then you keep reducing from there. Plus 4b squared, plus 6b plus 1, and then put that remainder over what you divided by, b minus 3. And that will be your answer. So on the second page here, it says state if the given binomial is a factor of the given polynomial. So if it's a factor, that means that it can be divided. Okay, so it can be divided evenly. And if it can be divided evenly, then it would have a remainder of 0. So all you're doing with these on the second page is dividing them and checking the remainder. So if the remainder is a 0, then yes, it's a factor. You can just say yes, it's a factor or a factor. If the remainder is not a 0, then say not a factor. So the answer is not the result of the division. The answer is simply yes, it's a factor, or no, it's not a factor. And that all depends on the remainder of 0.